Hey everyone, and welcome back. Fallout76 is still Dawn update, dropped on us a bit earlier than expected, but I already managed to finish the storyline on one character and thus received the Plasma Cutter, which is gonna be the video about. So, the way you get this without spoilers is to just literally do every single BOS questline currently in here. For me that took about 3 hours, give or take an hour or so. However, the one you get isn't legendary, so for it to drop for you in a legendary variant, first, you will need to complete the daily ops enough time to actually be able to roll a reward that is the plan for the Plasma Cutter. And yes, that will enable you to craft it as well, but you cannot craft the legendary variants like you were able to with the Wastelanders weapons. The only way you can get this in legendary variant still is once you learn the plans, it will start dropping from the Purveyor or certain quests that actually pull from the Purveyor's loot pool. Yes, it is super RNG based and it's super hard to get, so I guess the best thing we can do right now is to look at its stats and see if whether it's worth the immense grind that it requires. To unlock the modifications for it, that's another location, you're gonna need to go to Regs in Vault 79, which becomes available to you once you've completed the Wastelanders quest line. And yes, the modifications are important, as you'll see soon enough. Each of them will cost you 200 gold bullions, which isn't too much, but again, I'm gonna show you which ones you likely need by the end of this video. The swing speed is listed as slow, however, despite that, it's still medium swing speed, and you will see this from a comparison soon enough. Now, the previous best 100 melee weapon in the game was the Sheepsquatch Club, with its highest damage modification currently out-damaging this damage that we just saw from the Plasma Cutter, but again, this is unmodified Plasma Cutter. The Sheepsquatch Club is heavier, and it does have a medium listed swing speed, but now that you see it, me actually trying it out in practice, you will see that the swing speed is pretty much the exact same, the animations and everything, so both weapons are technically medium swing speed weapons. Taking this to Workbench, you will see that there are 3 upgrades as you could purchase from Regs, and each will change certain stats about the weapon. The Shocking Blade, oddly enough, will increase the ballistic damage of it and not the energy damage. The Flaming the Flaming Blade will convert the energy damage part to flaming damage, which has been newly added by the new DLC. You know, now enemies have certain specific flaming and cryo damage resistances. And last but not least, the cryo basically just changes the energy damage to cryo damage. For starters, I'll be comparing this flaming version, since this is the highest damage additionally, to the Sheepsquatch Club. And you will see that once I put on all the perks, this is now have a total damage of 283 added together. And yes, this out damage now the Sheepsquatch Club, which is sitting at 259 damage. But since I don't believe sheer numbers for this game, let's see how they do against certain enemy types. First of all, we've got some ghouls here. Here is a rather tanky glowing one, so he should be able to take more than one hit. 243 damage with the Sheepsquatch Club, and 264 with the Plasma Cutter. So yeah, it's definitely higher. But let's see how it does against robots, since those have rather different resistances altogether. Hitting this Assaultron in the chest area, which is pretty much their weakest points, I think, is 191 damage with the Sheepsquatch Club. With the Plasma Cutter, that is a total of 220. So, yes, this is a bit of a smaller difference, but if you compare it percentage-wise, then it's actually not that far apart. It's pretty much the same. And last but not least, let's go over to some super mutants and check it out on them. So, here we have a tanky Warlord. The Sheepsquatch Club deals 166 damage to it, while the Plasma Cutter deals 170. So yeah, this is the flaming variant, and the super mutants do have a rather high flame damage resistance as far as I saw from the files. So, but even then, you know, it still has higher damage overall, so it's not like it's missing out on any areas so far. But it's also time to test out different variants, because, you know, the raw damage itself might change based on those. So first of all, we've got the flaming one, which deals 260 damage to a super mutant skirmisher, which is a bit, you know, lower level than the warlord earlier. The cryo one will deal 234, so that's considerably lower. And the shocking one, again, to a skirmisher, will deal 271 damage, which again shows that super mutants do have relatively high flame damage, you know, seeing that the energy one could out-damage it. But while the Shocking Blade and the Flaming Blade do have their own areas of superiority, the Cryo one seems to fall behind. And sadly, this isn't compensated by the fact that it cannot actually slow targets, despite showing the sort of visual effects of them being frozen. Or at least it's not to an extent where I could visually, you know, distinguish the two, like, you know, non-frozen and frozen enemies. So yeah, so far it looks like that it's either the shocking or the flaming blade that is worth picking up. And before you ask, yes, it is a silent weapon. You can attack without it breaking your sneak. And yep, that's pretty much everything about this weapon I think you need to know. I think I covered all the areas, but if I missed anything, just put it in the comments. Yes, it is a new best weapon without question by now, but again, whether this sort of upgrade is worth the grind that is requiring, I'll probably leave up to you. I mean, I'm going to try and get a bloodied one for me, but you know, it's pretty much just only because I don't have anything better to do right now. Anyway, hopefully you found this informative and helpful, and please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I'm going to say my goodbye. See you everyone.